Welcome, I am Cami from the Do-It-Yourself blog Tidbits. Are you perhaps looking for old world and vintage art for your walls without the price tag for the rich and the famous? Well, today I want to show you 7 really great online sources where you can find affordable artwork for your home. When I was looking for a beautiful piece of vintage art for our kitchen, I asked my Instagram friends for their favorite sources where they find affordable art for their home, and boy did they deliver. I got so many great ideas and resources that I thought I would just compile them all and share them with you for a one-stop shop to help you find that perfect piece to fill your wall. Now, most of these sources are online shops where you can print and frame affordable artwork yourself. After I share my favorite sources, I'll leave you with some tips for where and how you can print your digital art purchase, as well as helpful keywords to type in when you are searching for antique or vintage art. Now, please also note that all the links to the shops and products that I will mention here will certainly be left for you in the description box below. So among the highest recommendation was an antique shop called Vintage Supply. And in fact, it's where I got the very piece for my kitchen walls. They have an incredibly beautiful collection for vintage landscapes. They have still lifes, portraits, and really a lot more. What I really like is that you have the option to print with them, or you can just buy the digital file. Now, this large digital file was called Crystal Lake and only cost me $15, and I was able to print it at my local shop for $25. If you have also looked for something as large as like a 24 by 36 inch art, you know that's really an incredible price. So the cost to print directly with Vintage Supply is higher, but you do get a file that's printed on quality cotton press paper, which I imagine looks stunning. However, I was very happy with the print quality just from my local print shop. Okay, another really highly recommended shop was called BFF Print Shop. So they have quite an array of styles, from vintage to modern to stunning photography. Among my favorites was this piece called Rivertown. I really like this sweet depiction of a mother praying with her children. It was called Mother's Prayer. And this lovely moody floral piece is called Purple Flowers, and I thought it was really pretty. Another great place to find art is a print shop called Society 6. Now, perhaps you've heard of this shop where artists and creators can submit their designs and then they can turn them into products through Society 6. There is this whole section called art prints, which allows you to purchase files and print as you see fit. I think it's best to use this platform to find an artist that you particularly like and then see their whole collection and have print access to it. A particular favorite of mine would be this collection by Sweet Miss Mustard Seed. She is so very talented and her artwork is absolutely stunning. So it can be fun to search around and find the art that draws your attention and then see what else the artist has created and see if you can find art that way. Okay, another highly recommended print shop that came from my Instagram followers is called Juniper Print Shop. Now, they have a charming vintage collection and a wide variety of other collections. I was particularly smitten with this sweet print called Sisters, since I have 3 daughters and there were 3 girls in my family growing up. I'm also loving all their botanical prints and this one called Nautical. Okay, next up is Etsy. And Etsy might be an obvious place to you to find antique artwork. If you search around, you'll find a mix of digital download options as well as options to ship original vintage artwork to your home. And knowing what to search for is key to finding what you like on Etsy. My absolute favorite Etsy shop for vintage paintings and downloads is called WildFig Paperie. It's hard to pick favorites, but I know my husband would love this vintage ship print. I adore this print called Chiffon with the moody colors, and all their landscapes just have my heart. Now, while we're on Etsy, I'd also like to take this chance to share what my talented neighbor Chad has created for Etsy. He sells watercolor paintings that he does on his shop page, which I think are just so great. I will also link to them in the description below. He created this beautiful one specifically for me upon my request, and you can find that in his shop for purchase as well. I really want this beautiful horse print for when the time comes that I'm designing my daughter's bedroom, since she loves horses so much. Anyway, there are a lot of talented artists on Etsy, and it's really fun to just search around and see what catches your eye and what kind of curated shops will pop up in your search. Okay, another great search for all kinds of digital products, including vintage art, is Shutterstock. Again, you have to dig around with keywords and try to find artists and their collections. Some favorites I found was this dark and moody print called Cellar. I also really like this Italian landscape, or this really interesting cityscape. Now, Shutterstock is great because you can buy subscriptions to get a lot of prints each month, or there's the option to buy packs of downloads, which can save you quite a bit of money if you are planning to buy multiple images or downloads at a time. Okay, finally, while I was doing some research, I ended up on a site called Great Big Canvas. It was a bit tricky to sift through this site to find what I liked. I discovered on here again that if you look at a particular artist collection, you can kind of discover more of the style that calls to you. They don't offer digital downloads, but they offer prints at a really affordable price. You can even print it on canvas or get it framed directly through them. I really like this collection by Jean-Baptiste Corot. Another favorite collection was this one by John Constable. I like that I could also search by time period. I found my favorites in the Romanticism and Renaissance periods. Okay, let's talk quick about searching for art online. Now, if you found yourself on one of these sites that I've mentioned, or any others, specifically the ones like Etsy and Shutterstock, it's important to know what kind of keywords to use in your search. The key is to get really, really specific. Searches for antique or vintage art may be too broad, and you might find something you like, but chances are you won't. I find that if I type in things like a time period, like 1820s, I get a really cohesive collection in my results. I also like to use keywords like antique Dutch oil paintings or European vintage artwork, or primitive art, just to name a few. If you're looking for landscapes or portraits, be sure to use those keywords in your search as well. So get really specific, and you will likely find search terms along the way that will have a better chance of leading you to what you're actually looking for. Okay, a question I get a lot of is, how do I print? So I suggest first to look in your local area for print shops that might be available. Many of them can get you same-day printing, and you can have it right away. I find that the small print shops in my area are more helpful too. I can kind of drill them to find what kind of paper and print quality they have, and they work hard to kind of get me the best results at the best price. I use a company in my area called Alpha Graphics. They used their best Canon printer and best matte paper for this stunning print in my kitchen. It turned out so lovely, I didn't even want to cover it with glass. You can choose to go with a bigger chain store like Staples and have it printed and shipped to you. I just prefer the timing and the customer service of the smaller print shops in my area. A little about the paper, I always suggest using a matte paper finish for vintage prints. It will look much more authentic in the end. I would suggest to you to steer clear of going the route of printing on big engineered prints. It's a very affordable option, but from my experience, the quality is pretty poor. Perhaps you could get away with it if you were doing a black and white or a sketch print. But finally, my last suggestion is to pay really close attention to the size of the print when you purchase it. If the resolution of the digital download isn't large enough for a big print, it will not work out for you. You should be able to see the resolution and print size recommendations on the item before you ever purchase the download. Now, it can be a bit disappointing when you discover the perfect print, you buy it, and then find out the largest it will print is maybe an 8x10, and you were hoping to fill that really big antique frame that you've been holding on to. So just be sure that you definitely check the resolution before you buy. Okay, that was a lot of information, but I hope it helped direct you to art that you will love in your home. My style at this time is very old world European, but you can certainly use these tips and sources to find the art that suits your home and style best. Now, I know there are some of you out there that know great sources for online art as well, so please share them in the comments below so that we can all check them out. Let me know which shop I mentioned got you excited to dig into and enjoy finding affordable art for your home. I can't thank you enough for taking the time to watch this video. I work hard on them and I love to share a video at least every week, so be sure to subscribe and come back for more inspiration for do-it-yourself living.